Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. And as I said in last week's video, we were on the move again. And this week's video is coming to you from a rather impressive beach in northern Normandy. And it is pretty incredible. All these, first and foremost, these huge cliffs that stretch as far as the eye can see, both left and also stretching all the way out this way as well. And then obviously all of these huge boulders that look almost like dinosaur skeletal remains, littered again as far as the eye can see up the coast. Two things to talk about today, and hopefully a couple of images as well. Firstly, we'll get to the camera bit in a minute. I know that's probably what most people are interested in, but let's talk a little bit about positivity first and foremost. Now, I'll make this rather brief because I know the last 2 weeks you've just heard me yabbering. So just before Christmas, I sent an email out to a chap a well-known photographer who has inspired me down the years with his images, his words, his books, his little kind of newsletters. And so I just thought I would send him an email and say, you know what, chap, you're really inspiring me. And I never thought really anything else of it. Not least that this chap commands quite a large audience through his own work. A couple of weeks later, I got an email back from him. And suffice to say that my words kind of inspired him. He was greatly touched. And I didn't do it for that reason. I was genuinely just saying, look, I really appreciate everything that you do. So I was surprised that he kind of got back to me, and even more surprised that he got back to me with such sort of deep, meaningful, heartfelt thanks, and that my words had kind of lifted him up at just the right time as well. And it got me thinking, you know, we spend so often, well actually I don't have left social media now, but we spend so often thinking that our little double taps on images is more than enough. Our little comments, nice shot dude, are more than enough. But think about it. You know, we're getting all of those likes, and are they really doing anything for us? How about we try and be a little bit more positive with our fellow creative? If there's someone who inspires you today, I would highly encourage you to reach out to them, an email, a DM, whatever, but more than just a social media like. Actually drop them a message and really sort of tell them that they are inspiring you, because you never know, it might be exactly what that person needs. Even though they're maybe portraying something far different, but it might be that your words of encouragement might just be what they need. So a little reminder that let's all be a little bit more positive and sending a bit more positive kind of connection with our fellow creatives. So we've been in France 3-4 days now. We've been on the road a couple of weeks. We hunkered down with my parents for a bit and Nicola's mum for a bit, and then got into France a few days ago. Not a huge amount of time for photography, but I did snap a couple of images as we sort of wandered through a couple of really nice little French villages. And our plan for the next, we're hoping to be in France for the next 5, maybe 6 weeks. And our plan is really just to follow the coastline around Normandy and around Brittany, and then coming back up through the sort of a bit more central, sort of west of Paris, maybe having a little soiree into Belgium before we head back into the UK again. Plan is to be back in the UK before the end of March, but we're just really playing about here at the moment. Now, one of the reasons why we decided to come back into the EU again, back into France, was just the ease of travelling in a van in these countries. There's just so many errors, and especially this time of year, obviously February, you know, things aren't as busy, so there's always plenty of space. So that's one of the reasons why we have decided to come into France. The plan is, after we get back into the UK, to probably do a month up the west coast of Ireland, but that's a whole different story, whole different time. positivity. Yes, let's try to spread a little bit more positivity around the place. And speaking of positivity, and quite loosely related to my new camera system, well, actually quite much related to my new camera system, one of you guys, won't mention any names, have let me borrow a camera for this trip and a lens. And not just any camera, but a Fujifilm GFX 50R. So yeah, I have a medium format 50R in my possession, and I'm really looking forward to using it. Now, along the beach here today, I actually don't have an L bracket for it, and so I've got a normal kind of screw-in attachment for the old tripod for it, but I forgot to bring it down from the van. So I was just wandering around this little beach here, shooting a couple of handheld shots, and I'll throw those up afterwards. But hopefully later on today, as we drive on, I'll be able to actually make the most of using that GFX. But I am forever I'm blown away. I'm still not quite sure what to say. What a kind gesture. And I really hope I do it justice. I'm really looking forward to shooting with the GFX. As you know, my photography is really starting to really look for that quieter scene, that more intimate scene. And I'm actually looking forward to that. If you remember the last trip that we had, things started to unravel quite a bit for me. And I think that's because I was putting a bit too much pressure on myself from this sort of photography side of things. And one of the things I love doing is just wandering around looking for little intimate scenes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that medium format sensor sort of lends itself to that. But yeah, blown away by the generosity for the loaner of this 50R and a lens as well. So still got the old XT4 with me as well, with a raft of lenses, and of course my little X100T. But what I'm going to do now is I'll throw up a couple of images from this little just handheld wander on this beach. It's an incredible place. I mean, look at those cliffs behind me here. Just incredible. And we're going to wander on, and hopefully later on today get back out with the camera and we'll pick this vlog up then. But yeah, let's try to share a little bit of positivity, more positivity amongst our fellow creatives. Right, images, and we'll catch up later today. Good evening. It's now several hours and several further miles south here on the Normandy coast, and brought ourselves back to the little park up spot that we parked before here the penultimate night of our kind of last European trip. Thought we'd come down here again. The sunset looked promising, but as you can maybe make out behind me, or maybe not, it's kind of gone in behind a bit of haze. So now here she is, the beast. Actually, and along with the 32 to 64mm lens, which a very nice chap also loaned me. But my goodness me, it is a massive learning curve. Not least the whole depth of field fun and games with medium format. Apertures that perhaps you weren't comfortable shooting at in your mirrorless, and now it almost becomes a bit of a necessity. So as I say, I did shoot one image across the way, just a very sort of standard shot. No, it was actually a shot that was meant to be as a sort of framing exercise, and then I was going to maybe fine tune it with some filters. Now it's a 77mm filtering on this. I'm pretty sure I also got the 77mm adapter ring for the old case filters, but it doesn't seem to be in my bag, which is a bit of a pain in the backside, I must admit. But so I'd actually wandered down this little sort of, took myself away from the beach, very messy, lots of people about, and brought myself down here because, as I said, one of the things I'm looking forward to using this 50R with is intimate shots. And that's exactly what I've kind of been mucking about here with. The other thing I love now, I'm using a 1x1 crop on this, but I went into the crop menu and of course you've got all the crop options, which makes me a very happy man. If you've seen some of my previous vlogs, you know that the lack of aspect ratios on the mirrorless cameras is a bit of a pain. But so we do have a little bit of soft ambient light coming through. It's about an hour before sunset. And so I've just been shooting a little sort of tied up bit of rope here. With the thought process being perhaps afterwards cropping in even more. Now, with the 32-64, the minimal focusing distance is actually not that great. So I can't really get in any closer. But of course, shooting on a crop, shooting on a 1x1, already cropped a little bit of that out. And of course, it does leave me with 50 megapixels to play with. It does leave me with lots more megapixels. So I may even crop that in a little bit more just to kind of have the knotted ropes. And this is the only reason why I'm shooting these sort of scenes is over these next probably couple of vlogs, that's what we're going to be doing, because I really want to see whether a medium format camera such as this really does suit my style of photography, or how my style of photography is actually progressing. So at least we do have it on the tripod as well. But the other thing, and I don't think this will leave me for the whole trip, very nervous about using it. As I say, it's on loan, so very nervous about using it as well. But I'll carry on. We just have a little bit more light coming through there now. I'll carry on fine-tuning this. I'll make an image and then I'll throw it up.